Alright, so to make this style of hard groove, it's a bit closer to like raw, deep, hypnotic sort of techno with the hard groove in there. That's what these guys like Bo Didier and Alarico are essentially doing. I'm using this template. It's from my Ultimate Hard Groove Toolkit sample pack. Links at the top of the description. You get these kits with the Ableton files plus all the samples and the individual loops from everything, so really solid stuff. We're going to start up here at 144 BPM. I found this to be the magic number. A lot of people are making hard groove tracks slower or faster, but for whatever reason, 144 BPM really hits with this stuff. So we're starting here always with a kick and bass. So you'll notice this kick, I made it a little shorter. It's important because the hard groove bass is essentially like a wash. You know, it's just like a constant movement. So you want a shorter kick. This kick was really good. It just needed to be brought down a little. I've cut a little bit of sub, and I also tuned it as well. And then for the bass line. So this is sort of like the magic hard groove bass line method I like to use. What I do is I take a bunch of different toms inside of a drum rack or kicks or percussions or anything that has like low end and make like a really repetitive loop. Like you can see this is just the same thing over and over, right? Over half notes. And then we put a little bit of delay. Distortion, which you can hear really rumbles it. And then low pass, so we're getting just the rumbly bass. Side chain it to our little side chain here, right? And then just cutting out the sub and converting it to mono. So once you get these things down, the whole track's gonna sit a lot better, right? And then from there we move up. We have a bit of programmed percussion, right? You can see with this clap too, I'm using like the low note from the clap to kind of add a little more rhythm. I noticed that with those really like hypnotic Alarico style sort of percussions, a lot of times it's just the same percussion you've already been hearing, but pitched down a lot, right? We got this little loop with the auto pan side chain. I've got some of these live percussion loops as well. You know, just stuff. Can't really program, right? You know, live stuff. We also have a little bit of percussion in this little drum rack here, right? It's like the last element. Like if I turn that all off and then turn it on, you can hear it really pulls the groove forward with that. And so this is just a bunch of different percussion sounds. Having different percussions play off of each other like this can really create a lot of movement, right? And then the last thing I want to show you down here are the hard groove stabs that everybody's been asking about. So the first thing is, I think when you hear these on their own, they might not always sound exactly how you would think, right? Like, these are very much set up to fit with this track. When I made this, I made the drums, and then I made these. And like, when you play them on their own, yeah, it might seem a bit like, but then you play it all together. So the first thing with these is not even just what stab you're using or how do I make them or where do I get them from, but even just like how do we make them fit with the rest of everything else? That's really what you want to look for, right? So what we got here is we're starting with this one. This is the one you hear the most. Right, so this is just like this. If I play the whole thing, it's like these old orchestra stabs, like, you know, from the Fairlight CMI or like maybe old hip hop records, right? Like that whole kind of like, it's a very 80s sort of thing, honestly. Like all of this kind of stuff came from like 80s hip hop and kind of the way that sampling and all that worked at that time, right? Even this like really rigid sort of sound, like hard groove, I really like these Europeans. A lot to 80s hip hop with this stuff. As far as effects on this go, I've just got a little bit of delay. And then this auto pan to make it sound sidechain. Then we got these two stabs. right? So it's two different sounds, but they play together. You get the one every 2 bars, kind of like restarting the loop, and then you get this one with a bit of delay, but also hitting only once every bar. So it's like, and that's the other thing is like you hear how much of a bed that creates for this stab up here. I mean, we could talk about how to find these all day, but it's really that mindset more so of like how we're gonna set up kind of like I said, like a bed, and then we're gonna let the other stabs sort of jump on top of that bed. As far as effects go, just a bit of delay. The other one's completely dry. I think a lot of times you can keep these really dry too, you know, and it's going to sound fine. It's obviously going to sound better because you're not going to be clashing with the track, and then it's going to contrast. Like when you have like one, you know, you got the one that's really dry and the one with a bunch of delay. You can create contrast there. And yeah, so that's going to be it for this one, guys. I hope you enjoyed. As always, make sure to like this video as well as subscribe. And let me know what you think of this video in the comments. Like I said in the beginning, you can grab the Ultimate Hardgroove Toolkit at the top of the description on my website. Definitely grab that while it's available. It's the best thing that you can get right now to take your tracks to the next level today. Plus, you can get it with my new ES Pro subscription service, so definitely check that out as well. Thanks for the support, everybody, and I'll see you tomorrow with another video.